Well, if this wasn't volunteer work, I'd expect some hazard pay. But hot, a little hot. I don't like the hot, some people do. Yeah, more like a 60, 70 degree day. So got this situated, and I think, well, I know that there's no avoiding these guys. So I'm gonna take a look at that. Maybe rough trim them, see where that leads. So a text manual actually tells you to take everything apart, deburr it, and paint it as desired. And I don't know, I just feel like I want to at least get a jump start on these, take a look at them. Trim file sand, or buy the ones from Aerosports that are all made. This is basically just a piece of sandpaper wrapped around a PVC tube, but I love having round sanding things and flat sanding things. This is just sandpaper glued onto a piece of 1/4 inch MDF and then cut up into strips. But they work really good for fine tuning or trimming the edges to where you need them to be. Got it? So in the manual they say trim it flush with the edge of the windshield, which is technically here. Their marking was out here where the bevel is, and I think I can trim it down further this way. But they also say to measure and find this hole and then drill that out. I'm wondering if it would be a good or a bad idea to just heat that area up and mold it around that so you don't have the bolt sticking through. My guess is that if you ever have to take the wing off, I mean the nut is on the other side for inspection, and if you ever have to take the wing off, you got to take this off anyway. So I don't know, I might try that. I think it'll look clean. Alrighty, here's what I've learned so far. Don't be shy in the trimming. See all the shavings there. At first I went to like the very outside of that trimmed indicator thing, and you know, it fit, but the more you trim the better it fits. So I am actually all the way on the inside of it, and I looked at some pictures online. Looks like everybody's butting it up to this thing. So still undecided about the hole here, but I gotta make a decision soon. And yeah, these things fit pretty good. Pretty happy with it. I keep trimming it down there. I don't want to go too far because I don't want a gap up there, but I think I need to address this bolt issue so I can push it into position. All right. I looked, but I haven't found in the manual where it talks about this wing root gap seal, but I know this thing goes here, and I can only imagine it sits about like that on the door frame. So I marked that. I'm going to mark it on both sides because I think that would be a good point to cut the trim panel to, you know, maybe match it from the top to that. I don't know, makes sense in my book. Alright, well, the undecided guy that I am, I decided to try and heat it, and that actually worked awesome, and it fits really good. And I could take a strap and go around the plane this way and grab it right in the cuff to glue it on. Before I proceed with these though, I think I'm going to throw a question out there to see if this is an acceptable method, or if you do need to get at this for inspection. The other side, I don't know if you can see it, but there's torque seal on it, so you would be able to notice if it loosens. Yeah, so I'm gonna leave off there. I think I'm gonna take all these apart, clean them, deburr them, and paint them, and then we're actually gonna do weight and balance George is getting the scales from our friends up at Southern Maine Aviation tomorrow, and that's the plan for the weekend. So kind of figured lift the tail up, you know, get that back of the door frame perpendicular to the ground, 90-degree level, and then we got to figure out how to get the front wheels up and basically do the weight and balance thing. So I think the cuffs video might be to be continued, so there may be a chronological lapse in the way these goes. All right, super hot, babbling. For now, see ya. All right, so I put a post out there on Facebook, and most of the comments, including Randy, said to drill a hole, but the most disturbing one was on the upside. It would provide some material for another episode of Dr. Pimple Popper. All right, so with that being said and Kent unseen, yeah, I'm getting rid of the pimple. Yeah, I'm gonna heat it up again, flatten it out, and then drill a hole. All right, back in kind of chronological order here. We just did a weight and balance, so that's one video, and then I heated this back up and kind of pushed it against that with some plastic wrapped around it to try and smooth that out because I didn't want the pimple. So now I came up with this great idea. I took a little washer, gonna put that like around there to find the center. Okay, lose the washer, find the center, and then I'm going to take my ruler, tape it along the leading edge, flip that back, put the cuff on, and it should line up right where that bolt is. I think, I hope. All right, that was one of my better ideas. That worked out fantastic. Look how tight that is. Nothing even holding it. I did try actually putting a strap that goes from here, like a ratcheting strap, hooks onto the wing strut, goes around here and diagonally over to that back corner. So when you glue it, it really holds that in tight. And I'm doing another strap that just kind of goes around the wing here, and that really holds this in tight. But I know I see a lot of planes, including the one on the RANS brochure, that's got a big gap there. We have no gaps. This is awesome. Psyched. Use that trick. Alright, so these are the straps I'm talking about. I kind of just have it hooked on the back there. I know it's pulling the Lexan, but not too hard. It's just a little bit of tension, but it makes this thing just sit super nice. Then I just lifted these up, and I actually took a straight edge and just ran it across there. So that'll give me a good trim line to make it, you know, perpendicular to that, so I can cut them there. And then I also marked here and the mating part underneath here, so that'll give me this cut line. So yeah, gonna do some cutting. All right, unrelated to the cuffs, but needs to be done. So I took all of these strips out. Oh, actually, I still got to get that one. And I'm going to paint them. I'm going to paint them in my store just because I have a better painting. Like I have a paint booth and a wash bay and stuff like that, so it'll be better. All right, one more thing on the cuffs. Obviously, well, now I made it, at first I made it as tight as possible, so literally it just snapped on and held it real nice in place. But then I made that one a little bigger, so I went to make this one to match. And then I actually looked at the instructions, and they said they want you to make a 3/4 inch hole and I'm only at halfway between 5/8 and 3/4. But then I realized the socket that goes on it is 3/4 inches. So that's probably why they want a 3/4 inch hole. You need to put a socket on there to line it up to make sure that it centers it. All right, now I'm going home. See ya. All right, in the midst of it all, sanding, scotch-brighting, washing, priming with self-etching primer, painting, priming again with high-build primer, sanding and washing again, and then painting it with semi-gloss black. Very time-consuming process. All right, got the strips up here. Those are the outside too. I decided not to paint those. I just cleaned them because I kind of think that's going to be part of the plane and wing color, and then the inside ones are all going to be black. I totally forgot about these. I wanted to take these off and paint those, so we'll have to do that. Right now, I am going to take these off, round these corners, clean them, and I got to trim them in the back, and then put all that back together. I still have double-sided tape underneath here, so I gotta get get that all out. So a little more stripping, and I noticed I just uploaded a video that I wear a lot of blue shirts. Totally coincidental. Here's another one. All right. Hey, got them strapped in. I trimmed a little bit off the top, so I got a nice fit there. I pushed it in a little bit, so I'm gonna use that mark. I also rounded those corners. And I'm gonna connect that with that mark. The same thing on that side. And now I'm pondering, does this arch actually need to be that big? The cutout's like here. It's like a 3-inch flange. So I might trim it down a little bit. I want to see where that curve goes. So I'm gonna trim it to whatever looks good. One thing I had on my to-do list was this is the top front corner of the doors. It seems to catch the Z-strip or whatever is there, so I'm going to round that over. Since I rounded this over to match, I'm going to round this and this, that over too. Just get the curse out of it. Why does Phantom of the Opera come to mind? Okie doke, here's where I'm at with the wing cuffs. Fits good. I think I'm going to leave them that big shape, just finalize them a little bit. The windshield obviously sits high here, so that lifts this gap. So unless you kind of force it down, but then you have a step there. So I'm going to add a little ABS on the bottom here, just like kind of to ramp it up. And that way, you know, it'll blend into that. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, but I'm going to call it a day for today. I took these things. I'm going to take those home and paint them. So really was hoping to make the wing cuff video in one video. Well, I don't know, I guess they're kind of done. Using the socket as a spacer to center it, that's always a good idea. These straps, I think, is a good idea. Just remember, don't tighten them too much, just very gentle. And yeah, so I'm going to end this here. I'm not sure when I'm coming up again. Hot. 89, only 89. Anyway, good night. Thank you for watching. Remember, it's just me doing it, not instructions, just having fun and documenting it, and if it helps somebody, even better. Build on. Happy building. See ya.